So maybe something a little different to what we've talked about so far. My name is Rory Holmes. I'm from a company called ClearSpace, and I want to talk about the next revolution that's coming in the space industry. What happens when we can bring a servicing infrastructure into space, and how that changes everything. So a little bit of context first. There are currently $300 billion worth of satellites in orbit today. These are the satellites that underpin so many aspects of our daily lives. So the satellites that guided your route here today with GPS, or the satellites that observe the Earth to feed our weather or climate models, or the telecom satellites that bring internet to those hard-to-reach places. All of these satellites operate in a vacuum where there is no servicing infrastructure to support them. When they run out of fuel, there's no way to refuel them. When they fail and break down, there's no way to repair them. When new technology becomes available, there's no way to upgrade them. Essentially, from the moment we light that rocket and we launch that satellite into space, we've got no way of physically interacting with it again. So what does this mean? When a satellite fails or runs out of fuel, they're simply abandoned. And billions of dollars are wasted when many satellites' useful life could have been extended through servicing. We believe that bringing that servicing infrastructure to space, being able to service satellites in orbit, changes everything. So to take a few practical examples of a game-changing servicing infrastructure in space, let's first consider repair. What happens when we are able to repair satellites in orbit? So we know, unfortunately, some satellites fail prematurely. A great example of this is a satellite called Viasat-3, launched last year. This is a big, heavy, complex telecommunication satellite, reported to have cost over $750 million to produce and launch. Shortly after launch, it was deploying its large reflector array, the thing you see at the top, and there was an anomaly. This reflector array did not deploy properly, and it's reported that this satellite now only has about 10% of the capacity that it was originally designed for. So there is a $750 million asset in orbit that is 90% degraded because of a simple mechanical failure. How much would the owner of that satellite pay for a simple repair service? Another example of how bringing servicing infrastructure to space can change everything is refueling. We know that many satellites are retired early simply because they've run out of fuel. So these are satellites that are still working, still serving customers on the ground, still bringing a revenue stream in for their owners. They're simply switched off because they've run out of fuel. If we're able to refuel these satellites in orbit, we can extend their life, extend the life of these assets, and extend that revenue stream for their operators. So this is what ClearSpace does. We're a scale-up, a startup, and we are entirely focused on bringing this servicing infrastructure to space. We have core technology in space sensing, space robotics, space control. Essentially, we build satellites that can go and service other satellites in orbit. We can navigate to them, we can grab them, we can dock with them, we can pull them around, we can manipulate them. We can provide all these services through the core technology that we have. We're not doing this alone, and we're lucky that we have contracts with some of the most prestigious space agencies in the world. For example, we have 2 missions that we're providing to the European Space Agency at the moment. Our first one, called ClearSpace 1, very imaginative, I know, on the naming. We need to get better at that. But this first mission will provide a service of removing a dangerous piece of space debris from orbit. So our satellite on the left will go to this object, inspect it, grab it, and then pull it safely out of orbit before it can do harm to other objects in orbit. This is another example of in-orbit servicing compared to the ones I discussed before. but one that's based on exactly the same core technology of sensing, robotics, and control in space. This debris removal mission gets us a lot of traction with the press, with the public. It's even been nominated as one of Time's best inventions of last year. It's brought us a sponsorship partnership with Omega, who give us these fantastic quotes that we like to share with people. But this is just one of the missions that we have with the European Space Agency. We have a second mission with them where we are making a satellite that will go and extend the life of a large, expensive telecommunication satellite in orbit, preserving that revenue stream for its owner. We're also very lucky to work with the UK Space Agency as well. We have a mission with them, another in-orbit servicing demonstrator, allowing us to validate more of our technology and showcase what is possible. The great thing about having these multiple contracts with these agencies is they provide a lot of funding to us, a lot of non-dilutive funding to us to develop and validate this core technology. So where are we today? Taking a big step back, the space industry is at an inflection point. The number of satellites that are launched per year is growing exponentially. You can see that on the graph at the left. And so is the opportunity for in-orbit servicing. ClearSpace is really well positioned to gain a substantial part of this new nascent in-orbit servicing market. We're in the right place at the right time, with the right technology, and with the right backing behind us. The challenge we now have in front of us is scaling, and we're looking to make friends who can help us with that next step in our evolution. I'll be talking in the beach room at 2:20 and be very happy to talk to people after this talk as well about ways that we could work together to help capture an even larger part of this billion-dollar market. Thank you.